Good morning, everybody. My name's Keegan. Welcome back to the channel. Today we got some Cage Performance arms. I know I said I was going to make them. I bought the tie rods, but the total for one arm was like $60 when we can hit up good old eBay and have somebody throw us a cheapy discount on some arms. So we got these, and we were trying to get it out about an inch, and safely with this hole lined up to that hole, we have that at about an inch, and then we still have plenty more adjustment in here, and that one's probably safely maxed out, but that'll give us our adjustment. And there's the other two arms, so we'll be able to adjust toe and make sure that the wheel kind of still can center out even with it being pushed farther back, and that should free up this little area. I have no problem cutting it because realistically it needs to get cut anyway. But we're gonna get these installed real quick. Longer arms are already pulled, and we will get to installing the other ones. Alrighty, so we went ahead and split up the arms to the appropriate sides. I still just gotta pull these. This is a 19, 17, 17, and then it's gonna be a 17 on the other side. And the other side has like this interesting little cover piece, kind of protecting it from the gas tank. So I went ahead and counted the threads and sorted out the arms. I didn't do the smaller arms yet, but for the longer arms I kind of counted the little spikes and then matched it just for like a rough both side matching situation. What's interesting is that on like this arm bolt, it kind of has a washer with these little fins, and towards the gas tank you can kind of see where they lock in. I think it says lock on it. So you just got to turn it the other way and then it'll pop right off. Not sure why it's just on the one, but it's protected, and it was one of the easier bolts to get off, so I'm glad. But we sorted out the arms on this side, and then I still gotta take off the hub bolts. But if you join me in my office for the day, we kind of got this one off. So this is a 19 on this side, 17 on that side. These are both 17s, and then I believe this is a 19, and I know that's a 19. So that's kind of to get you started, and I'm gonna go ahead and finish taking off these two on both sides, and then we'll get them popped on. And then one thing I'm also gonna be doing is, because I can rotate this, I'm gonna keep it headed in the upwards direction instead of the downwards direction like this one, so that way we can potentially reuse our sway bar without having to space it down to match the additional height added from the strut. So a lot going on, but not a lot going on. Just an interesting little everything coming together. All of the arms are off on the passenger side, and the driver side I've left in to show off that you can pull this bolt without removing the axle. I don't know if other people have issues with this, but using a thumb wrench with one hand, you can kind of turn that arm, and that metal is thin enough where it'll turn it sideways just enough, and then took a pair of pliers, used the axle as kind of a little point, and I'd put the tip of the pliers on that bolt and just kind of squeezed and pulled it out. If anybody's attempting this, I hope that makes sense. But this spindle nut also just took a extended ratchet 19, just turned it until it spun, and then that broke loose. So I'm gonna finish up this side and then start with installing them. But those are really the only two kind of issues I had, was getting this hub long bolt out. If anything breaks, I feel like it'd be this bolt, but we'll see when we get there. And then that bolt, no issues going back in. I will say that the kind of plier trick on this back arm, I ended up cutting the bolt, and I can still get a wrench around it just fine, but that way it just clears the axle, because when you do that trick with the squared arms, it doesn't really work when you can adjust the whole arm, so you don't have anything to kind of move the whole thing. But that way I was able to get those back in. This worked, so I can now use the stock sway bar. I originally wasn't going to, I didn't think it mattered, and we'll see how it performs off-roading, but I'm glad we could kind of get it hooked back up on both sides. And in regards to the wheel, we only have to do a little bit of trimming versus what was there before. So now versus where it used to hit kind of before I couldn't even get it on the hub, I'm just gonna have to trim just that little bit, and the wheel should only be going in that direction. So if anything, we'll do a little bit more. That way if it, you know, comes down a little bit harsher, but that should be max. Shouldn't be touching me around or anything. So pretty happy with that. Arms are in. I don't know how many people are installing these on a Impreza today, but just a quick little rundown of them. I'm gonna start priming some of these spots, getting some seam sealer leaned down. Hopefully it's not too cold. I'm gonna read the instructions. If anything, I'll bring a heater in the garage or just close the door and let it kind of cook a little bit. But we'll get to it. A lot of patience and hammering and chiseling later. I've gotten all of the undercover stuff, sound deadening material, off the driver's side, back part underneath the wagon seats were. I still gotta do just that section right there and just those upper sections. And then I ended up cutting the floor kind of vents that were right there. They went down and around, and then they split into these two tunnels. I'm guessing for heating the back of the car. Find one. This thing. So this one was the driver's side, but it'd go down like that and then blow under the seat. We don't need that, so I just dropped them both right there, and then that's really it. This is the easiest sound deadening material that I've ever gotten off. I don't know if it's because it's cold or it's a newer material versus the Z stuff. That's just a paste, so that's kind of easy to work with. But we're gonna go ahead and finish doing that area, and then I'm gonna prime and kind of seam seal just around the edges, and we're gonna start laying some sound deadening. I was going to start laying down the mat after I cleared out that front section, but I figured it'd look a lot more complete if I went ahead and just finished kind of the bracing that the seats kind of sat on. So I went ahead and finished that one, did that one, and filled in where the e-brake went through, kind of sprayed some primer on it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and scrape those, and then what we're gonna be putting in is some Kilmat sound deadening. It's just off Amazon, so I got a quick roller, and then they look like this. So back to that, and then to this. We're back another day later, and I've primered, seam sealed, got a little bit cracks. I'm guessing that's where the seam seal's kind of breathing, but it's been sprayed. Did Kilmat everything from like the kind of the harness bar, back hoop cage, forward. Was sure to do the insides of these because I'm sure they'd make the most noise, just because that was kind of the flattest, smoothest area. But we did everything. I wasn't too worried about, you know, absolutely covering everything, but I definitely wanted to just kind of fill a lot of flat spots. I went over seam sealed this middle section again and made sure to do that tower. You know, I wasn't sure if it was going to hear any nicks or anything, but I didn't want any howling. So she's good to go. And now the wheels fit, arms installed, Kilmat installed. I'm gonna see if there's like a universal kind of rubber flooring I can put in this. If not, then we'll decide on Subaru floor getting cut or Z floor getting cut. But until next time, not sure what's next. Hopefully sourcing metal.